A message from, I guess, Tim. Tim's all hopped up that XM is listening, so am I, of course. But Tim was saying that on JetBlue, they must have XM radio on JetBlue because he said all of the radios were on JetBlue. I don't even understand the email, what he's saying. He sends me emails. I don't know. I know something big is happening, but I don't understand it.
Right.
He was saying something about, here, Gary, explain what that was.
I actually understood it because I fly JetBlue a lot.
We should read it and see if anybody here can understand it.
Yeah, let somebody else see if they can tell you what he said.
I'll read this to everyone in the room, and I'll go around the room and ask you if you know what it means. And if you actually get it right, you'll get a prize.
Wow.
I speak fluent Sabian.
Then you're a genius.
I don't.
I need you.
Or I'm stupid.
I don't.
I doubt Tim knows how to email. Come on.
Tim is a character, man. I sometimes just don't know what he's talking about, but I know something exciting is happening.
Well, sometimes, yeah, he seems to write you in mid-thought. Like, he started the thought 2 lines before he actually starts writing to you.
But you did get him skinny.
He's looking amazing.
He looks great. Tim is just he's the greatest guy in the world. Like, he's the guy you want to hang out with and just have fun with, but not anymore because he doesn't chew. But before.
Hates it.
He hates chewing.
So is Tim, like, so grateful to you for putting him on your diet and getting him...
He calls me his angel. He hugs me every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
How's his breath?
Fine. You know, that's a momentary thing when you're first throwing off stuff.
Oh, okay,
It's not an all-the-time thing.
Yeah, because I don't know if I could have taken it.
Yeah, he's clean.
That first week, I was talking to him, and I almost passed out. But he's all right now.
What were you doing on Saturday Night Live? I was a little thrown by this. Now, I didn't even understand. Artie was on Saturday Night Live.
And you don't tell anybody?
And Artie is an alumni of Mad TV. Well, but you were on Mad TV, too.
I made a comedic history or non-comedic history, depending on how you look at it. I was on the season finale of Saturday Night Live and the series finale of Mad TV in the same night.
Wow.
How do you end up on the series finale of Saturday Night Live?
Well, the season, I think. I think they're bringing it back.
Right.
Well, I didn't tell anybody because I didn't know. I went to go see Norm. Norm Will Ferrell hosted, who I know because I've worked with, and he did the show and stuff. And
Green Day was the band, right?
Green Day was the band.
Right.
Tom Hanks was there. Sean Penn was there.
Wow.
Why were they there?
Just hanging. Well, Tom Hanks was in a Jeopardy sketch that Norm did Burt Reynolds in.
And everybody's doing promotion, so they're doing all that.
Everybody's out there, yeah. Right.
So
it's like a celebrity hang Saturday Night Live.
So Norm resurrected his Burt Reynolds impression.
Yes, which is very... this guy, Jim Downey, who's a great writer, he wrote Fred Garvin, Male Prostitute.
Right.
He's one of the original guys. And he's a friend of mine because he's in Dirty Work. But... he used to say that because Burt Reynolds isn't the most topical impression.
Right.
Whenever Norm would do Burt Reynolds, he would say to him, say, Norm, that's such a current impression. It's great. And it really makes sense. It's topical today. And Norm would go like, why? He goes, well, because today is the 10th anniversary of his death. But, so Norm does it, and I'm just hanging out in Norm's dressing room all night, just talking to him, and I saw Will and everybody was nice. Boy, everybody there is such a fan of the show.
That's great.
Yeah, it really is. A lot of the newer cast members and stuff were very nice. But at the very end, they did this sketch that I think I just figured out the premise of the sketch because I didn't know. No one knew. I asked Norm, I said, what is this sketch about? No one knew. And I guess Will plays a businessman, and there's 3 other businessmen that he's having dinner with. And to get out of paying the check, Will just starts singing Goodnight Saigon by Billy Joel. And everybody... a bunch of strangers come around him and do that chorus, we will all go down together. And in the Billy Joel video, they all slowly leave the stage.
Right.
And Will then leaves, and then at the end, the 3 guys, hey, he just ran out on the check. Like, why do we always fall for that? That's the thing. So Marcy Klein, who's Calvin Klein's daughter.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, is insanely sexy. Have you ever met her?
I think I have.
Oh,
I think she used to work on Saturday Night Live, and she's
a producer there.
Yeah, I think she was...
She was involved when you were there?
I think so.
Yeah, she was there. She's been there a while.
Yeah, nice looking girl.
She's hot. She's like really sexy. And she does an internet radio show or something.
And what is she worth? She's Calvin Klein's daughter, right?
I didn't ask her, but I'm sure it's more than me and my sister.
Is she Calvin Klein's daughter or ex-wife?
She's Calvin Klein's daughter.
No, Kelly was the wife.
Yeah, the wife was hot, too.
Yeah.
I saw her once.
yeah, she, and she's very stylish, you know, obviously. I mean, you know, and she's just hot. I don't know. I found her very attractive. Anyway, she did an internet radio show. She has an internet radio show. So she said, would you be on the show with Norm and Jim Downey? I want to interview them. She interviewed them about O.J. Simpson and all that stuff.
Right.
Because Jim Downey wrote all those O.J. Simpson jokes with Frank Sebastiano that Norm got fired for. All
right, so go back to...
all right, so, no, it was just interesting, some of the stuff.
Yeah, right.
So, at the end of the sketch, she comes up to me.
Go ahead.
She had a glass of wine, and she said, anybody famous has to be in this sketch. And I said, what does that mean? She goes, well, come on. The sketch is starting. And she goes, wow. We just go behind Norm, and you just stand there and just walk on and sing the song. It's easy. So I said, no, I don't want to do that. I said, just let Norm and Tom Hanks and Anne Hathaway and
not my fan.
Paul Rudd was there, that movie kid. I said, I don't want to do this. So she grabs my hand and goes, no, you got to do this, and runs me out there.
And she's a hot chick that you find sexy.
He
so it's
followed
hard to say
her
no.
because she's hot.
Well, yeah. Well, listen, if Lorne Michaels grabbed my hand, I would have done it too.
But it sounds like you were having fun.
I was having a blast. Right. It was great to see Norm. We were joking around and laughing all night. So all of a sudden, I'm standing behind Norm waiting to enter the sketch, and Norm, laughs, and I'm standing with Green Day and everything. So I walk on stage, and I just start singing the song.
Right.
And the stage manager tells me when to exit.
Right.
So I just exit. I did it perfectly. I didn't even rehearse it. And as I'm exiting...
They just rounded everyone up and just threw them on.
Everybody... Tom Hanks was on stage... Anne Hathaway was on stage. Green Day was on stage. Anybody who was sort of famous, they just put on stage.
Because they usually rehearse that stuff to death.
Right.
And the fact that they did it spontaneously like that is wild.
Well,
they make such a big deal about this live TV.
Last sketch of the night, and I couldn't have fucked it up bad, you know.
Yeah.
You
should just stayed on the stage and you know, like, hey,
ignore every cue.
Fuck you.
Listen, I have a few things to say.
Sing really loud.
Right. Start yelling out offensive things.
I see it as an opportunity for book promotion.
I should have worn Too Fat to Fish shirt. That would have been great. But who knew what I was doing? You know?
had no idea.
So,
now, by the way, this doesn't affect your sobriety. In other words, you're out at night. It's a Saturday night. You're
Other
with
people
Norm.
are drinking.
People
I'm
are
sure
drinking wine.
Party.
Well, Norm is sober now.
Is he?
Well, he's never been a drinker, but anything he was doing, he doesn't do anymore.
But even being out, did you have your bodyguards with you who watched you?
No, I told you. They said you got to have sort of the tools to
do this
up.
on your own. Yeah.
So I went to the after party. And, you know, but I had it was fine. I had no temptation. I drank water all night. I saw a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time.
How many waters do you drink? Try not to drink.
Let me see.
50,000 glasses of water.
Well, my new thing is cigarettes. Because it was the after party was downstairs in the rotunda of Rockefeller Plaza there.
Right.
So there was a section where you could smoke. And, you know, you think no one smokes anymore. Everyone in New York smokes still. Like, I was out in the smoking area, and everyone was crowded smoking around. You know, I couldn't move. So I had about 2 packs of cigarettes.
Because that keeps you
It's something to do. It's like you don't realize you got to use your hands when you're at a party. So I had a glass of water and a cigarette. I saw a lot of friends of mine from L.A., a lot of comics I haven't seen in a long time. But what about
Lorne Michaels? Was he there?
Lorne Michaels came up to me and smiled and shook my hand while I was on stage in between. So now they asked me to say the good nights.
Right.
Because I was in the show. But a kind of cool thing that's a testament to this show happened. As I was leaving the stage after the sketch, you know, it's like all these movie stars, and someone in the crowd yelled out, Artie! And the place went crazy.
Wow.
Yelled out.
That feels good.
It was nice. But so then, in between in the commercial, they said, Marcy says, now you got to do the good nights. So I'm like, that's ridiculous. I was here for 3 seconds, and now you were on the show. So during the commercial, Lorne came up to me and was very nice. I said, I'm sorry, Lorne. You know, he said, no, don't worry about it.
Sounds like Marcy has a thing for you, man.
I don't know why you didn't hit on her.
She doesn't have a thing for me.
Surprised you didn't bed her that night.
I have a thing for her. She doesn't have a thing for me. But it was very,
one-way thing.
It was very nice. But you want to hear how my life is. So there's this girl I know who I wanted to invite to the after party. I don't have a cell phone, okay? This girl is 25. When you tell someone who's 25 years old you don't have a cell phone, they look at you like you're wearing a Revolutionary War uniform.
Yeah,
you know, like they look at you like you're a red coat.
Okay, Grandpa.
Yeah, are you churning butter tonight? So Greg Gass was there with his girlfriend. So I had to borrow Gass's cell phone. And meet the girl outside by Radio City with Gass's cell phone, but he's like, are you going to give this back? And I'm like, well, I'll see you later. So I had
What's Craig Gass doing there?
I don't know. I guess,
Craig is legendary for just, he gets into every after party, every backstage event. That's what he does.
I mean, I know he wants to be on Saturday Night Live because he does so many good impressions and stuff.
But he loves to go to after parties.
He does.
Loves. And he gets into a lot of them.
How does he do it? Like in other words...
Like, he's not there for the show. He waits for the after.
He knows. I mean, I guess he made a lot of contacts in his life, you know. I mean, he's a comic that everybody... I mean, look, being on your show...
People know him.
I mean, that's why I'm there, you know. It's like, so he was there with his girlfriend at the... And I was... It's funny, because when I visited Norm there a couple of times, Lorne has an office that overlooks the stage. And right to the left of that office is this big room, like a den, where just a ton of celebrities hang out and watch the show on a monitor. And that's where Craig was with his girl. And
You're kidding.
Yeah, and I said, listen, I need your cell phone. He's like, why? I said, I don't have one right now. So I had his cell phone for like 4 hours. I got back to the after party, and I'm looking for Craig. I said, I have his cell phone. He can't call me.
Right.
You know? And the girl was like, why do you have his cell phone? I was like, well, I'll tell you later. But
did you hook up with the 25-year-old?
You know, she's a friend of mine.
No, I'm saying, did you have a date?
It was like a date. Yeah,
you had a date?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
But anyway, I couldn't leave the after party till 5:30 in the morning because I couldn't find Craig Gass and give him his cell phone back. I got home at about 6 o'clock, and then we had, like, breakfast. It felt like the old days, only sober.
Yeah.
Like, I used to get home at 7 a.m. all the time, like people going to work on a Tuesday.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, no cops around to watch you, nothing. Like, look at you, all out on the town.
But when
I got my shrink tomorrow.
When do you get your cell phone back? Because you have a cell phone.
Oh, I got 7 of them. I bought like 7 different BlackBerries because I would drop them all the time, fucked up. And
who gets to be at the Easter? Your mom and your sister, obviously.
Yes, and just a lot of people.
Your uncles?
A couple of people were out of town, so it was a smaller thing. But a couple of cousins, uncles, you know.
Now, are you famous enough that people get angry when you don't invite them?
No. Listen, if that's going on in my family,
you don't know.
I don't see it.
Right.
Thank God.
So you had a few people over.
Yeah, you know. And then Easter ended, and then the military regime that...
I gotta moved in?
This is how serious this was, because the whole goal was that now that I've been off drugs for a little bit, they want me to try to learn how to, like, just live life. It is like, you know, because I've been in the heroin days for 5 years.
Well, heroin takes up a lot of your time, and now all of a sudden you got a lot of free time.
It's exhausting.
Right.
But you're telling me now you have to relearn how to live without heroin?
This is what
because he gets bored.
Well, that's the problem. He's right. I mean, you know.
It's like, what do you do in the time that you're not high?
So what these guys did was, and you know who did this with me, too? Joe the cop. You know Joe.
Yeah.
Good guy. And they brought in, after Easter Sunday, they brought in a drug-sniffing dog. Right. And they went over my whole house to see if I had a stash with a dog, okay? And I said, listen, this seems a little severe, but extreme. I guess it makes sense. Right. In the middle of the night, they're not going to be up all night.
Because no one trusts you.
Yeah, right. I mean, you know,
but also, you know, sometimes you can forget a stash, right?
No, you don't.
Well, it's hard to forget where heroin is, but that has happened to people before. And there wasn't anything in the house, but it was funny because the dog hit on a couple of jackets, and I went in the jacket pocket, and there were rolled-up dollar bills in there.
Oh, with residue?
Yeah, I guess. And from last summer's party.
It's always a party at your house.
Last summer's...
That party I attended?
How many drug-sniffing dogs were in the house?
Just one.
Just one.
They only need one.
Right.
And then they did my apartment. So,
wow.
Thank God I had no actual stash anywhere, because I told my mother and sister, look, I don't have anything, but it gave them peace of mind. But it was funny to see, you know what they do with a dog? Do you know anything about this? This might be a good thing for Beth to put in her book. I'm telling you, because I found it fascinating.
Maybe you should get a drug-sniffing dog. That would be a great pet for you.
I don't want that.
Great.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but then whenever there's drugs around, you'll know it.
You know, carry on.
You know what they do is they put the scent of drugs on a dog's toy. And so the dog thinks it's looking for its toy.
Right.
And I found that fascinating. I don't know. And you talk about trained dogs. This guy... Although this guy trains for the cops, he was doing exactly what you did. He had that tone of voice, and the thing would go down, and never hit it or anything like that. Matter of fact, the guy said
what's funny is the dog is looking for your toy.
Exactly. Right, he thinks it's finding a toy. And the thing was incredibly accurate because it hit on two things that I totally had drugs in.
Wow.
What kind of dog is it? Is it a
German Shepherd?
A German Shepherd, wow.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be great for you if you do go back to drugs? Like you'll be walking around with your dog, and your dog will lead you right to the drugs.
Yeah, I'm thinking in Artie's building, and thank goodness none of the other people had drugs.
You should have had a drug-sniffing dog when you were doing drugs.
Well,
how great would that have been?
But then I think it gets to the drugs and then eats it.
Oh, you don't want that.
You're competing.
You need a dog with a soft mouth.
Then you got a high dog.
Wow.
So,
I heard you were smoking cigarettes, though, over the weekend, and Mike, whatever the helicopter Mike was yelling at you.
He kept taking the cigarettes out of my mouth.
How many are you smoking more now?
No. Well, listen, you're not allowed to smoke anywhere anymore, except for a couple of Indian
reservations. Is this ever going to work if if they don't trust you? In other words, okay, so let's say you were hiding drugs and the dog found them.
Right.
That means, you don't really want to be off drugs. I mean, there's got to be a certain amount of, well that's why Artie's got to want this.
That's why the guy said it was time for me to do this, because when I first met him in the fall, when he would take me on helicopter rides out to signings. Mm-hmm. And he knew I was fucked up, and I brought it up to him, and he said, well, you really got to be ready, otherwise it's a waste.
Right.
And I sort of got rid of everything, and I said, all right, we got to do this. And matter of fact, it's funny you say that. It's pretty perceptive, because he said, if I had found 5 different areas where you had drugs, what the hell are we doing?
What are we doing? Yeah, let's forget it.
So
he's not going to waste his time.
Right. And look, he's a great guy, but he ain't doing it for free.
Right.
So this has to have an end at some point.
Yes.
And if you're out at the house all week, how do you do therapy?
Well, I didn't see the guy last week, but I talked to him on the phone. I told him I was going on vacation.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that, Howard? When you go on vacation, you go on vacation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see him. But,
I mean,
I did call him, though, a couple
times. How many sessions have you had?
You've been there a week.
I've only had 3.
I've only had 3.
Yeah,
so you're starting up again this week?
Yeah, I have to see the guy again.
Okay.
But I called him on the phone a couple of times.
Really?
Did you? You had phone sessions?
I talked, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a bill. not too phone. There was a couple of nights where I was feeling some anxiety, and I didn't want to take anything for it.
Right, because then you'd be back on drugs.
What would you have to take?
Well, I was saying, the guy said, look, would you feel comfortable with a prescription for anything? Because it was opiates and stuff. That was my problem. I said, no Xanax, nothing that could be addictive. So I just talked to him for a couple of minutes, which, I tell you, I don't know, I guess I like the guy. It helped, you know.
Good.
So, I don't know if he's going to charge me for the full session. I'll let you know.
I think they do charge you.
I'm sure they do.
If you miss a session, you pay.
It's the guy's time.
Yeah, well.
But isn't that the way it is? You miss a session, you pay? You don't get to take vacation.
Yeah, unless he can rebook that time.
That time?
Yeah, you pay anyway. So. Right. He's thrilled. You're on vacation and you pay.
He doesn't have to do anything. He gets a free hour and he still gets paid.
Yeah. Hey, anyway, let me...
he needs the therapy. That's bullshit.
Anyway, so we do have a Twitter now, if that means anything to anybody.
I heard on Howard 100 News over the vacation that we were all going to get a chance to Twitter. I don't know how to do it. It's as simple as typing something.
Yeah, it's just like you can do it right off your phone.
You can?
Yeah.
All right.
The thing I was saying yesterday to Richard Christie, he was telling me a story. Gary passed it on to me. Richard goes on, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, over the weekend. He found a place. It's all you can eat and drink, and you pay one price.
All you can eat and drink?
Yeah, all you can eat and drink, and you pay a price. And these places do well because for every person that drinks, 5 glasses of wine or something, you get the person in there who doesn't drink. Or you get the person who has a small portion or something like that. So he's telling me, he found the place. He sat there all day. Richard, come on in here. This guy is such a schnurrer.
Look at how big he's getting.
He's getting very fat. And I could see why. He finds a place. He pays his way. You got very fat, by the way. I noticed yesterday.
It's all muscle.
No, you've gotten heavy.
You look like Uncle Fester with the bald head.
No, give me a chance to talk to Richard for 1 second. I want to find out, A, why you're so heavy, and tell me about this place you found. How much does it cost to eat and drink there all day?
Well, it's not all you can eat. You order a brunch item,
I see.
Like a breakfast burrito or pancakes. And it's all you can drink. I think it's like $10.
$10?
All you can drink?
Yeah.
All you can drink?
Uh-huh.
Now, how long did you sit there?
6 hours.
6 hours you sat there. How much did you drink for $10?
Well, they had to, the other day, well, we've been going there for quite a few weekends now. We love this place. And the other day they had to run and make a champagne run and get more because we drank all of
dry.
it. Yeah.
Now, when you say we, you mean you and your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Go, okay, and you each pay $10. You get some kind of food. And can you imagine when this guy walks in, they break the bank? I mean, this goes on almost every weekend when he's in town.
He's going to run them out of business.
Yeah, they must shudder when you walk through the door.
Well, they do have a limit. I think it's an hour limit, but at this certain place, we know the bartender, so...
Oh, it is an hour limit?
Yeah.
Ah, well, that says he somehow manages to sit there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
How much champagne did you consume in 6 hours?
I would get... Well, my girlfriend doesn't drink near as much as me. I drink what I call man-mosas.
Right.
They're in a beer mug. It's a mimosa in a beer mug.
Right.
And
so what is in a mimosa? Champagne and orange juice?
Yeah.
And you drink, why do you swill those in a beer mug? You can get them in quicker?
Just, yeah, because they don't... If it's in a champagne glass, they're coming back every 2 seconds because I can do that like a shot.
Yeah, there's probably about 4 or 5 in a beer mug.
Yeah.
So how much champagne would you say you consume? How many bottles?
I would guess 5 or 6 at least.
God. Oh, my God. So, I mean, you break the bank there, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's cheap champagne. They buy, like, Cooks.
We know.
So they're still not doing too bad.
We figured that. So what's going to be with you?
Why waste good champagne on you?
Are they going to ban you from the restaurant, or are they going to... Because you're what I call a schnurrer or a chazer. I'm not even sure what you are. I'm not sure what you are.
Well, I don't know what either of those means, so I don't know either.
What's the distinction?
Well, a chazer is somebody who would go into a place, pay $10, and just sit there all day and drink. But a schnurrer would be someone who grudges you until you become a chazer.
Oh.
He's actually bug out. He's a schnazzer.
He grudges you till you become a schnurrer and a chazer.
Yeah, the idea that, you know, this poor bartender now, like, has to deal with him, he passed the limit. I think he's a schnurrer.
I call it being a good businessman, because I'm going in, drinking.
$10.
For $10.
It's unbelievable. I'm surprised they haven't banned you from the place.
They probably will one of these days.
You know.
But we're good customers.
You're a full-blown alcoholic now, right?
No, not at all.
What would be a full-blown alcoholic?
When you went I'll tell you why I think he's an alcoholic. When you went on a train trip, you packed a suitcase full of champagne. And to me, if you're packing, alcohol on a train trip, you're thinking too much about how you're going to get your next drink.
I have some friends, and they came to visit, and the first thing they pulled out of their suitcase was a couple of bottles.
Well, it's fun.
I knew they had a problem.
Right.
That's not a problem. That's called being on vacation.
How many you drink every day of the week?
No.
Be honest.
I didn't drink last night, I swear.
Really?
I'll have a glass of wine. During the week, I'm really good.
Did you have a glass of wine last night?
No, not last night.
Right.
But what do you consider a full-blown alcoholic?
Well, a lot of people would... You guys will probably consider me an alcoholic. To me, an alcoholic is somebody that they can drink like a whole bottle of vodka, that it controls their life. They can't go a day without it. I can go days, and I can go weeks without it, but I don't choose to.
When you drink champagne, you're drinking bottles of champagne. I mean, you're going through... How many bottles did you say?
Well, just guessing 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
That's unreal.
In one sitting.
Yeah.
Richard, do you think the definition of an alcoholic is someone who has to be removed from an airplane in a wheelchair because they're too drunk to walk?
That was one time, Gary.
What, you don't care about your weight anymore? For a while you were caring.
Yeah, well, I always care, but it's so hard. The restaurants in New York are awesome. There's such good food.
So are the gyms.
But, you're folding your arms over your belly now, and,
A belly's hard to get rid of. I mean, especially when you get older. You know how it is.
I know it's hard, but, I mean, you've given up.
Dude, you're 32.
Yeah. When you get older. Right. How old are you?
35.
35.
When you get older.
I mean, I'm 55. Okay, I might have an issue. I don't know, man. You're still a young guy.
Yeah, I'm trying. You know what I've been doing is I walk up my stairs in my apartment, so.
Wow.
I've been trying.
Yeah,
and running.
Walks all the way up to his apartment.
And I go
was
to the
sitting
gym.
behind him at the movies yesterday. His head was sweating.
Oh, really?
He just shaved his head, and he really does look like Curly from the Three Stooges now because he's that heavy.
Big round head.
I said, what is with your head sweating so badly?
Your head sweat.
I just got off the subway. It's hot down there.
Did you shower last night?
No, I didn't.
I said to him, maybe you ought to shower. You're kind of sweaty. Yeah, I might shower tonight.
I was tired.
And you went home, you didn't shower. God, I don't even understand. It's such a good feeling to take a shower.
Yeah.
When you're tired, too, isn't it great just to lay there under the water and just relax, towel off, and then
helps you sleep.
And then just go. Yes, it helps you sleep. Just go to bed afterwards.
Especially if your head's been sweating.
Yeah, I just didn't think about it. I forgot, I guess.
Yeah.
Richard, you want to know the definition of an alcoholic? Because I've been to a bunch of therapy meetings and group therapy, and this is one definition of it, and this is the one I believe. You could have a drink twice a year, but when you drink, it drastically changes your personality to where you have problems. It creates issues in your life. That's what alcohol does to you. And you clearly do that at least twice a week.
Yeah, but you guys...
that could be... I believe you're an alcoholic.
But you guys aren't around me. My personality doesn't really change.
You were on a wheelchair.
Your personality.
At Howard and Beth's engagement party, you were grotesque with your shirt off, yelling. Your personality drastically changes. And this is coming from an alcoholic. I mean... when I go to an NA meeting or an AA meeting, I have to get up and say, hi, I'm Artie Lang, I'm everything. So I know this. Howard, his personality, he becomes a jerk-off.
Well, around you guys, I'm a little different because we don't ever get to party that much. I get a little wild when I get the chance to hang out with you guys.
Richard, 5 bottles of champagne at some $10 brunch with your girlfriend.
That's a lot of alcohol.
You think that when you've had all of that booze, you're the same as you always are?
I'm a little happier, I guess.
Here's Mike.
Personality.
Mike says he knows what's going on here. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Hey, now.
Hey, now.
Richard is what you call a binge drinker. I'm a physician. I've been in medicine for about 30 years. And he's the kind of guy we get in middle school, actually, the 15-year-olds who go out and drink till they can't drink anymore and come in, and they wake up the next day, they say they feel fine. So alcoholism is not an everyday event. It's an event in time where you drink to the point that it's unhealthy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good definition.
And that's the thing with him. Every time he drinks to get drunk. It's not just about having a drink.
No, trust me, I love the taste of champagne. I would even if I didn't get drunk, I would just drink it because I love it.
But
then you're also gay.
Drunk, you're not. You don't drink anything that much that doesn't get you drunk.
Right.
Well, that helps. I like being drunk.
I want to know the place that's for $10 you can drink for 6 hours. That's
you want to go with this?
Yeah. What is the name of this place?
Lucky Mojo's in Long Island City.
Lucky Mojo's.
Yeah.
And you go over there and you love it.
Yeah, but they're not going to let anybody do this. You know?
Right.
Look at what he's doing. Do you live in Long Island City?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how he finds these places.
Yeah, we were stagger home. We used to have to go all the way to 9th Avenue for the all-you-can-drink brunches. I think we're banned from there, though.
Terry, you're on the air.
Hi, Howard. I love your show.
Thanks.
I was at a seminar on alcoholism a month ago, and they said there are several types of alcoholics. One is they drink every day, but you can drink every 3 months. But if you're binge drinking when you're drinking, you're an alcoholic.
Right.
Yeah,
that would be the definition of Richard.
And I'll give you an example. Richard got so drunk at a wine tasting that he peed all over the flowers in front of people. Like you just whipped out your penis and started peeing in front of them, right? So.
And that's how you normally are.
No, not normally. I was with Sal. We were having a good time out in Sonoma.
God help us.
Yeah, I mean, the point is, his personality does drastically change.
Richard, let me tell you something. I agree with this woman, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. When I was, I think, 20 years old, I got so drunk, and my buddies drank the same amount as me, but they're not alcoholics. I got so drunk, we were in a bar that had one of those basketball games where you shoot and it comes down.
Yeah.
I fell asleep inside the game. I passed out. So the bouncers had to say, no one can play anymore because it's out of order.
Wow.
They played a trick on me. They locked up, closed the bar. I woke up at 5 a.m. alone in the bar, and I had to break out. So that's an alcoholic. You understand? Like, my behavior changed. Pissing in plants, taking your shirt off at Howard and Beth's engagement party, being red and yelling. you're an alcoholic. I'm telling you right now.
And I'm not really denying that. I mean, a lot of...
Well, you just did.
Well, to me, I mean, I can still control myself. I walked out of that brunch on Sunday, and I was fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying you might not be, but who knows?
But Howard, even you say on the weekends now, you drink a lot, too.
Oh, please.
Between the two of us, the most, we drink 1 bottle of wine, which is 2 glasses.
And he's not getting naked running down the fucking beach.
And I do definitely get buzzed and I feel good, but I don't think I do anything weird that I wouldn't do normally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He might be a little more talkative.
Well, Jason freaked out on me on the wrap-up show, but me and Will are fine.
You're okay now?
Yeah, yeah. It was a little weird there for a little bit. But, by the way, that night that I left that message, that was a fun night. I went on a booze cruise.
Yeah.
And me and my buddy... We drank so much we were throwing the deck chairs off of the booze cruise.
That's what I mean.
That's an alcoholic.
You're acting bizarre.
Yeah,
but on a booze cruise,
you.
That's why they call it a booze cruise. You get boozed up. I saw the funniest show this weekend on MTV. They have a show called True Life. And it was this guy that's 500 pounds, but he's gay. But all these really good-looking buff gay guys fly into Memphis to see him because they love that there's a 500-pound gay guy. They call them like chubby chasers or something.
Yeah.
And so the gay guy made a calendar of himself, the 500-pound guy, like in various poses, and totally nude. And I guess he was doing real good selling these calendars.
Wow.
There he is. There I am, yeah.
He does look a little like Brian.
A little bit.
Oh, my God.
How do you find his ass to fuck it?
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
Well, very nice, boys. What can I tell you? All right.
He's strange.
Yeah. Brian,
yes,
thank you. And Richard, how much you weigh now?
215.
Wow. Brian, what are you weighing? You're getting big, too.
I probably weigh about 250-something.
250?
Yeah.
I think you might be a little higher than that.
Maybe 260.
Wow, you boys are getting big. I don't know. Everyone around here is letting themselves get big.
It's hard with these hours and stuff. I don't know how you do it, Howard.
I control myself. I try not to eat so much all day.
It's summertime now, too. Drinking and...
You know, I'm down to about 230.
Are you? Wow.
Yeah, so I'm getting close to Richard. But what Richard's saying, you know what's the hardest part about it is this schedule with the road. And I'm not doing a WAD thing, but on the road, you eat like shit. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you put it on. But lately, I've actually been addicted to the gym and hoops. And I've dropped like almost 65 pounds.
Wow, that's terrific.
Wow, very quietly.
Yeah, so,
Jason's over 300 pounds.
Oh, is he over 300?
Over 300 pounds?
I think so. I know he's pushing 300.
Wow.
You know, everyone here's a big fat ass.
Except you and Fred and Will.
And Artie.
Jason, where are you at now?
I'm not over 300 pounds. I'm not at any good weight, but it's not over 300.
No? Are you 300?
I'll get on the scale.
Go ahead. Are you 300?
Yeah.
I bet you're 300.
Take everything out of your pockets. There you go.
Might as well take your shoes off. Got to be at least 285, 290.
Take your stomach off.
290.
289.
Yep.
289.
290. All right, you're not at 300 yet.
Where did you get the information that he was 300?
Somebody told me they thought he was hit the 300.
Well, Robin, he's not that far off. I mean,
Rob, we're talking 10 pounds.
No, I just thought it was somebody who knew.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight to carry around.
He's a bacon, egg, and cheese away from 300.
Yeah, lunch, he'll be 300.
You know, there's all sorts of diagnoses as an alcoholic. You got the classic alcoholic who sits in the alleyway drinking wine every day. He goes, but you're what you call a social alcoholic. He goes, because you can go 7-10 days without a drink, but if you're put in a social situation, it's a 100-yard dash to Drunkville. He's pretty much...
He's a drunk. He's an alcoholic.
Yeah, that actually sounds a lot like me. I love just to be around people and have a good time, and that usually always involves drinking.
Yeah, I'm worried about you. You got to pull yourself together.
We're worried about everybody who works here. What is going on?
I'm worried
a fucking mess.
You're sitting across from somebody that puts coffee in her butthole, and you're worried about me.
Yeah, but it's working for her. It's
coffee in my butthole doesn't do what you do when you drink 50 gallons of champagne.
But I'm not putting it up my butthole.
Yeah, but you'd
be better off.
You're going to put Brian up your butthole, it sounds like.
All right, thank you, Richard.
You big bear. Hey, real quick, Howard, since we're talking about my addictions, can we talk about something with Sal that's really funny?
Sure, what do you got?
You remember, who was that baseball player that boxed Danny Bonaducci?
Canseco.
Yeah.
Jose Canseco.
He came in with those fake cigarettes, those mechanical cigarettes.
Yeah.
Sal has gone crazy with those things. Like,
yeah, I know. I heard and I heard they're banning them or something.
Well, that's what everybody's saying. And like, people come in, somebody came into Sal the other day in our office, and they go, Sal, they're banning those everywhere, and they're supposed to be supposedly dangerous. And Sal takes a puff off his cigarette. He goes, I'll have to look into that. Meanwhile, he's been smoking the thing. And
listen to me. You worry about you with the champagne and all the alcohol. Limit yourself to 2 glasses.
Oh, forget it, Howard.
That's Robin.
That's ridiculous.
This is what's going to prove to him he's an alcoholic. You're not allowed to have more than 2 drinks a day. That's a given day. And you can't wait.
On Saturday, he can save them all up.
That's what I was going to say. If I don't drink during the week.
No more than 2 drinks a day.
Well, how big are the glasses?
Not in a beer mug, either. I'm talking about...
Does a bottle be considered a drink?
He'll get one of those water jugs.
I'll get a keg.
Thank you. Really, see if you can limit yourself to that.
Listen to Howard, man. He helped me. I'm like a poster boy for this shit. I'm 3 months clean. I've never felt better. It's a better life, dude. You want to walk around slurring your words and all this other...
Yes, he does.
I mean, it really is a better life.
Right.
It just work on it.
Yeah.
He's seen sober, and it's boring.
Yeah, well, it ain't boring.
All right, Richard, thank you.
Thank you, Howard. I will heed your advice, too, I promise.
Do I need to take a break here?
We do.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back right after. Tim, are you wearing smaller clothes now? Like, do you have, are you fitting into pants that you never could fit into?
I have 3 sets of clothes in my closet. Low, medium, and oh, God. I'm now on the just medium.
Medium.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much more weight?
Look at him. His stomach's almost
gone.
Another
50 pounds.
Another 50 you want to lose?
Yeah, 50 pounds, yeah.
Right.
You look great.
Thank you.
Do you know the part in the movie The Wrestler where he gets staple gunned?
Yeah.
You know the kid who's my bodyguard I showed you a picture of?
Yeah.
The kid who came home when he was 17 and his parents were gone? He does that shit.
He wrestles.
No, not Kurt Angle. This kid wrestles in amateur wrestling matches around Jersey. Almost the exact scene in the movie The Wrestler.
And he staples himself?
He's been in staple gun matches.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
I mean, like, there's no phoniness. They staple gun.
Right.
Right.
Hey, what's your problem with that?
I don't know. I guess
Why don't you grow up and accept reality, man?
That's making a living.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just a couple of weeks ago, the Test was found dead.
Yeah.
And then, we had that guy who killed his wife and kid and then killed himself.
Oh, yeah, that guy went nuts. Yeah.
I told Elephant Boy he could come down here and meet Kurt Angle, but he's going to have to do something.
I'm just worried that Kurt Angle is...
We had a good idea. We had a whole bunch of... Where is Elephant Boy? Bring him in here real quick. I
haven't seen Elephant Boy this year.
I got to tell him he's got to do something to meet Kurt Angle. He just can't meet Kurt Angle.
Yeah, why should he just get to meet him?
I mean, I love Elephant Boy, but, there are rules. Gary, how come Sal can't come in today? What do
you mean?
I got a message from Gary that...
Sal's not here?
Sal's not going to be in today. He's sick. But how did he know he was sick yesterday to not come in today?
Hold on. I'm going to read you the text. Hold on.
All right.
A text?
Text message.
Texting in sick.
Sick as a dog. Think it's the flu. I left you office voicemail, which I'm about to pull.
He gets, you talk about Artie being out. I think Sal's out more than Artie.
Yeah, and he's late a lot, too.
Right.
Although he'll say he's not. He's like, what do you think is... late a lot? Do you think being late once a month is a lot?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think that's way a lot.
He would say, I'm late like once a month, and he mostly blames it on the trains.
Yeah, that's hard to argue with, too.
Yeah. Because you can be late and blame it on the train, and I don't know.
Right.
I don't know that the train...
You're not with the train schedule knowing whether it was slowed down or not.
Put someone in charge of this. Call up Long Island Railroad and find out if, in fact, the train was late.
Okay, we're going to do that from now on.
Yeah, because I think he's horse-shitting. Because, I took the train into work for years.
Right.
And I was never late.
I think...
Well, you know what?
Ever.
You could, have somebody go back into the... Do you have a...
No, I'd have to go back.
log of what days he was late?
No, I don't. But it's funny because, I took the Long Island Railroad. When we were at NBC, I took the Long Island Railroad every day and night. And one time going home, somebody jumped in front of the tracks, and that was the only time the train was ever late.
Trains are usually on time in New York, man.
They usually run over someone, and they don't.
Yeah, they don't stop.
Especially rush hour. But
got to keep up with the schedule.
Texting in sick, that's a good one.
Well, he said he left me a voice message.
Yes, I'm saying, giving Artie ideas. Hey, Gary, you got to send this right back.
What's that?
But they'll just take it. You know what? I've decided to do all my business on the air. I'm not going to...
Is that a video you have to return?
It's a DVD. Some studio sent over a film. It was excellent, actually. I'd like you to see it, but it's coded with my name on it, and they gave me a time frame to get it back to them.
Or you'll disintegrate.
Or I go to jail, if anything. So I think just...
What's the name of the movie?
It's called Sunshine Cleaning.
You know, I've heard about that movie, and I said, that's the worst title.
It's a really good movie.
What is Sunshine Cleaning? Because I'd see it in the theaters, and who would go to see it based on that name?
In fact, I was talking about Michael Penn the other day, Sean Penn's brother, who we were talking about. I was saying how he was really talented, that his music...
Hit song,
yeah, that hit song, but that whole album was good. And he's really good. And I was saying that, and then he emailed me and said, hey, thanks for the nice mention. And then I was just coincidentally watching this movie, Sunshine Cleaning.
You know,
and Michael Penn did the whole, like, he does all the music.
Oh, he did the soundtrack. Yeah, that's what Gary was saying. That's what he does a lot now.
Yeah.
He does. I guess there's a lot of movie in that. I got a lot of money in that. But, okay, I saw a commercial for Sunshine Cleaning twice. Okay, you saw it. Let me see if I interpreted the commercial right, because sometimes I don't think I do.
Right.
Okay, based on a 30-second commercial, it's two women who need money, and they start a cleaning business where they clean up murder sites.
They clean up crime scenes.
They clean up crime scenes.
Like if you commit suicide, they're the ones who come in after the cops do everything, and they got to clean up the...
Isn't that interesting? Because there was another movie about that.
Was there?
Yeah.
That's Mr. in the Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel does that.
Yeah,
well, no, that's the cleaner, kind of guy. No, this is another kind of thing.
Yeah, so Sunshine Cleaning is...
And it's like a dark comedy, then.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really more about these two women and their life. I thought it was very well done. Very good movie.
It sounds like a chick flick.
It's definitely a chick flick. Like, Beth loved it.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's a chick flick. But, I can get into that.
Well, I can see from
chick.
I watched a lot of manly movies to make up for the chick flick thing. But I give it a big thumbs up, Sunshine Cleaning. Right. But I watched Punisher.
Okay.
I watched...
How was The Punisher? You watched the second one.
I'll give you my review of all of them.
All right.
Punisher 2, whatever that's called. Then I watched James Bond, the latest one that came out.
Quantum of Solace?
Quantum of Solace.
Yeah.
And I watched something else that was very manly.
Good Lord, all you did was watch movies this weekend.
Well, now that I'm not playing as much chess.
You really have slacked off on the chess?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in it, but I'm not as in it. I got to find more balance in my life.
Yeah.
I was too involved in it.
So the balance is movies?
Well, just having more time. But I saw Quantum of Solace, Punisher 2, and there was some other manly movie I watched. Now, I don't remember what it was. Oh, well.
I know you mentioned Punisher 2 on the air.
Punisher 2...
you just mentioned that.
Punisher 2 is horrible.
Oh, you're kidding.
Nah, I was so
You were
bummed.
so excited about it.
$40 for the Blu-ray, too.
$40.
Wow.
$40.
For a sucky movie. They should give you your money back. How about a money-back guarantee on these things?
I mailed it over to Beth's brother because I figured maybe he'll like it because it's, it's manly. And they're manly guys. Right. But, it's a shame to throw out a $40 movie. Have that on Blu-ray.
Yeah, did you really need it on Blu-ray?
No, I could have, yeah, why'd they call it Blu-ray? Because it blows.
B-L-E-W, right?
Punisher 2 is just really bad. The guy who plays Punisher is just a douche. There's nothing superhero-ish about him. There's no fun. There's no backstory. He's just killing tons of guys. And I can get into killing tons of guys, but, give me a little story, something. He's just punishing the mob.
They're punishing the Punisher. They keep making bad movies based on his character.
And instead of the Joker, they had a guy who was called Jigsaw, and he was in, Punisher pushed him into a whole vat of glass, and his face gets all fucked up, and now he's the Jigsaw.
It sounds like he's punishing the audience.
Yeah, and it's just, and the guy
everybody's being punished.
Even the guy who plays the mob guy is over the top. He's like, what the fuck are we doing here? It's just like, shut up. Overacting motherfucker. Everybody was just, but maybe it wasn't his fault. It was a bad script. In deference to the actor, but it just sucked.
It sucked.
It sucked. But
you saved me.
But I like Quantum of Solace. I thought that was pretty good.
Because wasn't it you, Artie, who said you
I didn't like it. I compared it to Casino Royale.
Well, it's not as good. It's definitely not as good. But
maybe that clouded me because I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and I thought it was too much bullshit in the beginning. I really had a disappointing experience.
Yeah. It wasn't as good as the last one. It was a disappointment that way, but it's still worth watching.
All right. So
I mean, there's action scenes where you go, wow. But the story suffered so much, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. We have a mixed opinion.
There is a smoking hot chick in it, though. I don't know where they get these Bond girls. They have a unique...
2 smoking hot chicks.
Yeah. But, well, the younger one with the sort of mulatto-looking girl with the green eyes.
What's that shit all over her back, though?
What?
Didn't the supervillain, I guess he threw into her fire when she was young.
Like that, yeah.
She had a burned up back?
She had a little bubbly thing on her back.
Oh.
But I think maybe that was part of the plot. I don't know. I know what Artie means. It's a lot of shit you can't follow.
The most gorgeous face, though. Like they find these unique-looking women for Bond chicks. You know, she was hot.
Yeah. There were some hot chicks. But all in all, you should watch that. But don't watch Punisher, too. It's a big waste of your time.
You talk me out of that. I definitely won't even try that.
I was really bummed out when they screw up a comic book because there's so many good... I used to read the Punisher. There was so many good episodes in the comics.
So it was a good comic book because I've only seen 2 bad movies.
No, Punisher was a good comic book. He was kind of Batman, but he killed people.
Batman never killed.
Yeah, Batman's a puss.
Oh,
like he's filling up an insane asylum full of guys.
And they always get out.
You know what, Batman? Kill a few of these criminals. They're bad enough that you can kill them. Don't feel so bad. Superman,
you're going to jail.
Superman doesn't kill anybody. It's just, enough of these pussy guys. And that's what the Punisher was about. It was like, enough of these pussy guys. This guy's going to kill people.
Right.
And you feel good when he kills them.
Well, the beauty thing about Superman was that he couldn't be killed, so he didn't need to kill.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the Superman television shows, inevitably, like, the 2 bad guys with guns were 3 feet away from Superman. They just keep shooting and shooting. And you think one of those fucking bullets is going to go kick back and kill him, but never happens.
They're just always hitting, ping-ponging all over the wall.
See, I'm pretty close on that. My favorite part of the Superman television show, you're talking about the original Superman?
George Reeve, yeah.
The criminals, each time, as Artie describes, they would shoot at Superman. And they would empty 6 bullets into Superman. And inevitably, what was the greatest?
Just stand there.
After the bullets would bounce off of Superman, each criminal would take the gun and throw it at Superman.
And then he would bend it. The bullets didn't hurt you, maybe the gun will.
And I'd sit there and go, you fucking schmuck.
What are you doing?
You just shot the guy
stupid.
6 times. It ricocheted back on you. And now you throw the gun at him? It was the greatest. And Superman would stand there with his arms folded and wait for them to go through the whole thing.
But the thing that cracked me up about Superman was then he would take the 2 guys, because there's usually 2 guys, and he would pick them up and he would
click them together.
He would knock them out by clicking them together.
Right. And bend the guns. But
why would you throw a gun at Superman?
I know.
Why would you throw a gun after the guy? You would just go,
like,
oh
that'll
my God.
get him.
Yeah.
I just picture a guy, like an out-of-work actor in 1950s Hollywood, and he goes on an audition. He's like, I'm one of the guys who tries to shoot Superman.
Remember the episode of Superman where there was another Superman and he had a donkey?
Yeah.
He came from Alaska.
That was
Chuck Connors.
I remember,
He was the hillbilly Superman.
Right.
He thought he was Superman, and that was great. And then he had to bring a pie to Alaska. That was the best. My name is Superman.
Yeah. I'm Superman.
And the real Superman would just look at him and like laugh. You're not Superman, asshole. No, I'm Superman. Why did Chuck Connors think he was Superman? He didn't have powers.
I think somebody just named him that or something. He was so dumb, you could just tell him that.
My favorite episode of the original Superman, that was the Mole Men, the 2-part.
Yeah.
That was the pilot.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
That was the original pilot.
That was the pilot, huh?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
With the original Lois Lane, who was way better looking than the second Lois Lane.
Yes,
really?
That I remember too, absolutely.
There was Neil and Noel.
There was another Noel?
Yeah, it was like Lois was 2 Noels or something.
Like a Dick Sargent and Dick York type of situation.
Yeah. But, the Mole Men one was the best. These creatures come from the middle of the earth. They're upset with the earth, the people who live on top of the earth, because when they're drilling for oil, they're disrupting a whole world down there.
Oh.
So they crawl out, and Superman sees them, and they shoot Superman with a vacuum cleaner. The prop was they had a special weapon that they were going to use. to kill Earthlings.
Special effects.
And it was a vacuum cleaner. It was literally a vacuum cleaner. There was no disguising
I got to get this because
it was
crazy.
You can get them on DVD, actually.
Yeah, they got to have them on DVD.
They have the entire TV series on DVD. I have it. I'm going to do a whole marathon watching session.
I'd like to check that out.
They've even cleaned up the episodes for DVD. Yeah.
That's cool.
And so they come out of the Earth and they start shooting Superman with a vacuum cleaner, and he just stands there and takes all the shit and then kind of helps them back into the middle of the Earth. And
you could see back then a suit on a guy would fool you into thinking maybe he's like this incredible, compared to nowadays, he's a roly-poly guy.
Oh, Superman, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like George Reeves.
He didn't work out a day.
But in a suit, he looks, like he could be cut or something, but he's
they had
sort of fat.
They had 2 full seasons of Superman. I guess 2 full television seasons.
Only 2?
Only 2.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Short-lived.
And by the second season, I guess George Reeves was really just bummed out with the part. He felt he was typecast.
Yeah.
And I guess he let himself go.
Right.
Trying to get out of that suit. He was eating himself out of that suit.
Yeah, because he had a belly, and he had to wear those tight panties and leotard over it, and he had a nice belly going over that, and titties.
Well, and the suit, elastic wasn't what it is today. And sometimes when you stretch it out, it gets really loose, and sometimes you could almost see him tugging on those pants.
Well, sometimes it would bag, the costume would bag out at the knees. You could see, it's got loose knees, and it's not a great costume.
When he's flying, a big gut hanging down.
Yeah.
But did you ever see Hollywoodland?
Yeah.
No.
Adrian Brody. I didn't love the movie, but it does. Ben Affleck plays George Reeves in it.
Yeah.
And it's based on his murder. And it gets a little bit into the disappointment of that guy's life.
Yeah.
He had a part in Gone with the Wind, I guess.
He did.
A
small part.
It was bigger. It was way bigger. It was like a real big part. And at the screening, everybody at the screening sees him and goes, yeah, that's Superman. And it's like people
and they cut it down?
Yeah, the executive saying, well, that's Superman, that's Superman. And you can see them all going, what do we got to do? And then he just cut him into practically hardly in the film at all.
Wow.
He was like a way bigger part, and he just gets all depressed about that.
Someone here is saying Superman was on for 6 seasons?
6?
Really?
I don't know that. That's not accurate, I don't think. It says the Avengers of Superman was on for 6 seasons. Do you mean the Adventures of Superman?
Adventures, yeah. Avengers.
Who's putting these things up? The Avengers of Superman, 1952 to 1958. And I don't know if that's 6 full television seasons.
52 to 58.
But does that mean it's 6 full seasons?
That's what they said it was on.
And, it's got to be a different movie then. I think it was From Here to Eternity, because Gone with the Wind was
Gone with the Wind.
No, Gone with the Wind was 39.
1939.
There's no way Superman was on TV in 1939. TV wasn't even on.
He was in that before.
He definitely had a real small role in that, but I think the movie that he got cut out of was From Here to Eternity. It was some big movie in the 50s.
Do you care? I was pulling the Sal voicemail. Do you care about a synopsis of the Chuck Connors episode along with some dialogue?
Sure.
Okay.
Of course I do. The episode begins with Chuck Connors checking into a hotel as Sylvester J. Superman.
Yeah,
that's right.
Like it was a name.
From Skunk Hollow. And Louis Leftover getting out of prison. After threatening Clark Kent, Louis goes to a hotel where his old partner is waiting. Louis makes a bet with his bud for $25,000 over a pie. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right, Sylvester J. Superman. I know what it was. The criminal guy ends up in Alaska to deliver the pie.
Right.
I won't read this whole thing.
Oh, that's right. You know what? We're thinking of 2 seasons because the first 2 seasons were the black and white seasons.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused.
And then there was the color.
Here's the info. The first 2 seasons were 26 episodes each, and then the next 4 seasons were 13 episodes each.
Right.
Oh, okay.
The color episodes.
Because it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of episodes to carry 6 seasons. Hey, Mike, you're on the air in Washington, D.C.
Hey, how's the morning, everybody? How you doing? 3 things real quick. I wanted to ask you, how come you've been saying oy vey a whole lot more ever since you turned 55? It seems like you've been saying that a lot more.
I'm saying oy vey a lot more because look at the condition of the world. We're in very, very bad shape. So,
it's not your age, it's the condition of the world.
It requires more oy veys. It's like, oy vey. I mean, you look at the world, what are you going to say? Oy vey.
Oh, and the first Lois Lane wasn't a Noel anything. She was Phyllis Coates.
All right. And who was the next one? Noel Neal.
Yeah, Noel Neal.
The second thing I had is last week you were talking about why people like Nicole Richie And Paris Hilton are famous, and I got a theory about why people like that are famous.
Maybe I'm saying oy vey more because I'm an old Jew now. Oy vey. You know what I mean? Like that. Maybe that.
Well,
just
that's what he's implying,
yeah.
I think.
Then I should just move to Florida like a lizard and lay there in the sun.
I think you're saying oy vey, quite frankly, because of these phone calls.
That's how Obama should start every press conference. Oy vey.
Oy vey is mere.
What does oy vey as mere mean?
That I don't know. I just overheard
you
people.
say it. What,
I don't know. I just know it means, oh, shit. What does oy vey technically mean, Fred? You're Jewish.
Is mere. It almost sounds like is me, but what's the oy vey part? I'm going to try and find it.
Oh, my God. Oy vey is oh, God. What is it, Gary?
If you want, I have the Sal voicemail, and it's great, you know, calling in sick. It's got the quintessential pause and cough.
It's got everything.
You know, to show for her.
Let's hear it.
So Gary, page 2, it's in the second column.
Hold on, Mike. I'll get to your more questions.
It's great. He's like, I'm not feeling good.
Hey, Gary, it's Sal. I've been in bed all day. I feel like complete shit. I have a fever and I'm sweating. I don't know what's going on. I wanted to wait until 8 o'clock tonight to call you because I thought I would feel a little better at this time, but I don't, and I don't want to come in sick tomorrow. So I'm just calling in sick for tomorrow because I feel like shit. All right, if you need anything, call me. Bye.
Oh, he did that.
What are you going to need from him? He's under the weather.
No, but
need anything.
I never even did that. 8 o'clock the night before.
That's something to put in your playbook.
Call him back and tell him I need a Tradio phone call immediately. I can't wait another day.
Something from the Confusion series?
Yeah.
It's funny, Howard says, Sal says he's sick, and you see his wife taking medical classes, trying to get him out of the house.
She'll do anything.
Get him well. She's a doctor now.
Please, Sal, don't be ill. Whoa, you must really love me again. No, I just don't want you home.
I sent out that email last night to let everybody know that he was going to be out. And the one person who responded immediately was John Hine. He said, oh, my God, a peaceful ride home in advance. Sal sits there and works John the whole ride home.
What does he do? Carrying on about?
Well, he either tries that as comedy material or just makes, general anti-Semitic remarks. Or just,
Is John Jewish?
Yeah.
And why is Sal making anti-Semitic remarks?
He thinks he's funny.
Him home.
To a guy who's driving him home.
Well, that's the whole joke. I mean, not the joke to Sal, but the joke to me. Like, why do you drive him home? He never kicks in for money, and, Sal will, like, when we all walk to the garage together. And I've heard Sal say things like, you're a rich Jew, you can afford it, but he thinks he's being funny. He doesn't think he's being bad.
Yeah, nothing pleases John Hine, I'm sure, more than sitting there with Sal and hearing about how, Jews are cheap.
And Sal's not kicking in for anything.
And Sal, I noticed that with a lot of guys who are anti-Semitic who are hung up on cheap, but they're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. They're the cheap ones.
Yeah.
I would say, John and I talk about this a lot. For the most part, John's entertained. Especially after a day where, like, you beat the shit out of Sal, or something goes on, because then it's the whole shrink session on the way home, and John just sits there and listens.
Hey, Howard, Sal's full of shit, man. Listen to him talking on that message. He's over-enunciating everything he's saying, man. He's lying his ass off.
Making those sick calls are never easy, because if you're really sick, nobody believes you anyway. Yeah, Johnny.
He is the most entertaining guy you could have in a car. He's just...
Really?
Oh, yeah. Whether it's, how he offended Howard today, or he tries out his material or whatever. I mean, it's just...
He's retarded.
It's nonstop, huh?
Yeah, but I'm the cheap one.
Yeah, you're cheap. You're driving him and paying for it.
Well, look at all this free entertainment you're getting.
That's true. That's true. It's entertainment value.
You should be paying him.
Sal has a rap that I've heard so many people do when you drive them around. John's going in and out anyway. He'd have to pay the same, whether Sal's in the car or not.
Yeah, well, guess what? There's a ton of people on the road with you at the same time.
It's better than that because, on Long Island, there's that HOV lane after about halfway out. Sal's, let's say, at exit 35. The HOV lane starts at exit 30. He's like, because I'm riding with you, you get to use that HOV lane for 5 exits. Meanwhile, I've sat an hour and a half's worth of traffic anyhow. But to him, that makes...
He's helping you out.
That's his value.
Do you actually go out of your way to drop Sal off?
No, he's just right off the Long Island Expressway. It's maybe 3 minutes out of the way. Oh. It's not that bad.
Oh, I would just kill him. First of all, he doesn't understand. Maybe you don't want to be with someone in your car. You want to be alone.
There are times when he'll go with Phelan or something like that. It's not every day.
Yeah.
But he's an entertaining guy.
You guys pass him around?
So do you pick him up on the way in, too?
No, I've never done that.
No.
On Fridays sometimes.
You just give him a ride home?
I give him a
Well, that's nice. The hell. It's probably the best part of his day. He's getting something for free. It's not with his wife. You know what I mean? It's probably the best part of his day.
Heaven.
He gets to get a few things out before he gets home.
By the way, when Sal calls in sick, I know he's really sick because he fucking hates being home.
Yeah.
So, you know he wants to be here.
I would assume he's sick.
He loves it here. I mean, he's got a cush job. He comes in. He's got his own office with Richard back there, which is the most fun office. They've decorated it. It's like their own little apartment.
Yeah, you go in there, it's Sal and Richard world.
The second you walk just to the front door of their office, it's like Sal and Richard, a big sign that says Sal and Richard with pictures of them.
Yeah.
Then you go in, and it's porn in there, and they each have their own little board so that they can record stuff and special effects, and they have everything at their fingertips, and they sit in there together all day with the door shut and make each other laugh.
Problem is it stinks.
Yeah, well, they don't care because it's their stink.
Right.
They don't care that you think it stinks. It's like, stay out. We're Sal and Richard.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, if you don't like our stink, stay out. It's our territory.
For a while, I used to go in there when Sal would come in a little after Richard, so I'd go in and just talk to Richard. And as soon as Sal would walk in, I'd walk out.
Oh,
just to fuck his head up.
You must kill him when you do
Oh, my God. And then I'd just, like, hang out, talk to Richard. And then it would kill Sal because I like to talk to Richard.
You should say, like, it'd be good, like, as you're leaving, you go, so, Richard, get back to me on that, okay?
Right?
Give me a call later.
Remember you and I used to talk every morning?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sal would come in and would drive him nuts.
You know what really killed him is a few years ago, you, me, and Beth went out to Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
And that drove him nuts. He was dwelling on that for about a year.
I even forgot that I went to Thanksgiving dinner with you. I know it was some Thanksgiving. I was in the city. I didn't have my kids.
And you took Richard?
Well, I said to Beth, I said, Richard's all alone.
I was eating turkey, like, microwave dinners.
Yeah,
and you felt bad. We were emailing each other.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were on the email together.
Yeah, so I called him up.
That's how you knew.
Yeah, I called him up and I said, come on, why don't you come have Thanksgiving dinner with us?
That did
nice.
kill Sal, I'm sure.
Oh, it drove him nuts.
Yeah, I don't even think that it's going to bother Sal. Sal's with his family and having Thanksgiving, but that...
And you'd think Sal, who loves Richard so much, would think to invite Richard.
I'd almost go away with Richard on vacation just to fuck Sal up.
Oh, Howard.
You know what I mean?
But then you got Richard peeing himself.
I don't care.
Oh,
Richard, I would go.
It's so worth it.
Of course you would.
Listen, I would go if you're going to do
You
that.
don't mind that he's going to be Richard and drink all
No,
day?
I'll mind my P's and Q's if
Then
I'm
he's
around
not going to
Howard.
enjoy the vacation.
All right.
No, I'll be good.
Anyway, Mike, you were saying.
You think Christina's at home cooking chicken noodle soup and all types of home remedies to get his ass out the house tomorrow?
Yeah, she's actually invented a new antibiotic in her basement in order to get Sal back to work.
She's like Madame Curie today.
She never showed any inclination towards science, but ever since Sal got sick, Christine is home and has invented 12 new antibiotics.
There's a Bunsen burner. She got the test tubes going. It's a whole thing.
Louise Pasteur.
Sal's wife is such a bad influence because she talks to my girlfriend when we do these comedy shows.
Yeah.
And she goes to my girlfriend, is Richard buying you new purses and stuff because you're getting extra money from these comedy shows?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what they do? Is like she sits there plotting how to spend any extra money, Sal?
Eddie Murphy used to talk about that. Like, he'd go to deepest, darkest Africa to marry a woman because she wouldn't be Americanized. And then 2 seconds later, he'd bring her back to the United States. And the American women would sit with her, you got to get a pocketbook, and you got to get shoes, and you got to get a new house.
Well, she comes back and she goes, half, Eddie, half.
Yeah, right, exactly. Half.
All I know is Sal's wife's got to be bumming out that Sal's home now.
Remember Chris Rock was in here one time, and he said he moved to a neighborhood in New Jersey kind of next to Eddie Murphy, and his wife would hang out with Eddie Murphy's wife, and she would come home after one of those afternoons and go, how come we don't have a jet?
Right.
And I go, that's because I wasn't in Beverly Hills 1, 2, 3. How come we ain't got 5 nannies? That's because I wasn't in Dr. Doolittle 1, 2, 3.
It's funny.
By the way, it doesn't smell that much in our office anymore.
Bullshit.
Sirius got us like an air filter in there that kind of filters all the
Who
stuff
got you an air filter?
Sirius did.
It filters all the dry comes.
Can you imagine what that
great?
filter looks like?
Sirius is almost bankrupt, but they were willing to spend money on an air filter for
That's
Richard
what
and
they
Sal.
have to do.
That's how bad it is. They're like, we don't have money to even pay the electric bill, but we got to get those guys an air filter.
The fuck kind of
Well,
air filter?
in their defense, it's an
That's
old
how
one.
bad it must stink.
They're breeding mold in the building.
Listen, if this drives the company under, we don't care. We're getting them an air filter.
Priorities.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm covering for Sal, too. We have a new Tradio call.
Oh, do you? Where?
Yeah.
Did Gary clear it yet?
Yeah, he told me to come in.
Hold on, I haven't listened to it yet. I'll give it a quick listen, Howard.
Yeah, you give it a quick listen.
But he told me to come in and tell you, though.
Is it really funny?
I think it is.
Should I trust you on this? Because sometimes
Are you sure you understand when Tradio is funny?
It's always funny to me. I think it is.
Did you piss your pants?
That thing you said you peed your pants over, it wasn't that funny.
Yeah. But you were laughing, though, Howard.
It was okay.
He was laughing at you laughing and pissing your pants.
Right.
Well, as long as people are laughing, that's what counts.
It's a funny thing, because I love the Tradio calls and stuff, but, you know, you guys, I have to listen to everything before I put it on, because sometimes you guys don't know when something's not funny.
I think this
All right, I'm going to play this. I've never heard it.
We'll see.
I'm going to trust
your judgment.
Okay.
What page is it on, Dino?
GP1 in Orange.
Working without a net.
Yeah.
GP1 in Orange.
I hope I'm not making a mistake here. I apologize ahead of time, because I see it's 3 minutes long.
I got through the first minute. So far, it's good.
It's good. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, most times the stuff's good, but I need to screen it first.
Oh, I understand that.
All right.
We're working hard back there. It is a fun room. You're right.
Well, thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing that, and we hope Sal feels better.
We got to play Richard in and out with that music.